You were hearing, Norman, on how Donald Trump is trying to extend this time, purposefully giving Iran more time to understand that they must open the Strait of Hormuz. However, this war imposed on Iran, it would be the second time in Iran's history that they had to deal with such, and making sure that every U.S. asset in the region is now a legitimate target. Given that, how are you observing this war? It is in the 5th week.
I think you brought up a really interesting fact. I think obviously the Strait of Hormuz plays a very key role, given how basically millions of barrels of oil is transported there daily. And interesting enough, Iran has a huge control over it, obviously the full control over it. And America, and I think America sent aircraft carriers.
Right,
two, right? And they haven't been successful, to say the least, right? And I think Trump is giving out threats, and this is quite usual of him. But I think they're also getting more harsh. It's because he understands it's not working. Iran, or the people, they have this martyrdom within them, within their personality, within like the culture. So for them, it's not as bad for them if like they would lose their lives, but it's for the cause, it's for the country, so in that aspect, I think Trump, like these threats of basically raining hellfire in the next 48 hours, to some extent they're empty threats. Maybe there will be some bombing, but it will be to the same extent as it was before. It wouldn't be something extensive or something different. And as for the US bases, as they should be targeted,
27 in the region, 27 bases combined in various countries.
And I think since if they are on war, because officially they aren't, like just to clarify, officially they aren't. Congress hasn't declared war. So you can call it war, but technically it isn't war. So until that happens, and this is just a casualty of war, the air bases. The bases getting destroyed is just part of the casualties.
Right.
So since no civilians are getting, if civilian deaths occur, and if that increases, there's an issue. But this is just a cost of war.
Emergency situation in the Middle East. Almost 11 Israelis were reported injured and 4 others were missing following an Iranian missile strike in Haifa, which is a port city in northern Israel, the country's national emergency service, according to them. I want to add on to this news as well that there has been a suspected scare at Israel's Ben Gurion airport near Tel Aviv, where they evacuated employees after detection of a smoke coming from an unidentified package. These are stories that are coming online with various media's news reports that suggests that the escalation between Iran and Israel is still continuing. Given the fact that the strait may open in the conditions where friendly nations are providing some kind of monetary benefit towards Iran, how are you seeing this? The long-lasting or the longevity of the state of Israel, it is being questioned. Their leader, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who has issued a genocide against the Palestinian people. What is your say regarding this fact, Ahmed Alvi, also by the fact that Iran is standing up for Palestinian people?
I really like the fact that Iran is standing up because others aren't, and that's quite visible to be honest. You just have to open your eyes. And the fact that these attacks are happening on Israel, it's not surprising given the current situation, right? And there are other militant activist groups, and obviously some other countries are reacting, right, to their attacks. And that's completely understandable in a sense of defending themselves, right? Even if it includes more deaths, unfortunately. Benjamin Netanyahu, basically what was really interesting is even if America puts boots on the ground, Israel is committed not to send any soldiers or any
That
ideas.
was the story that took to storm on social media as well, in which U.S. boots may be on the ground, but Israel shall not be sending any more forces.
So then you can understand, all right, so is it Israel just wants to be in the Is it that Israel wants to benefit from war rather than participate in it? And so there would be more questions. And regarding what Mr. Norman said, the battle of the currency also places a huge issue. And I think Donald Trump understands this. I think it puts a pressure on the US economy, puts a pressure on the dollar, and it's basically a shifting of power. And Iran is also benefiting greatly from all the commission, the fees, like from the toll booth, right, which is the Strait of Hormuz. And I think, so to some extent, there are some people who are financially benefiting a lot from this war. And clearly, America is not. And so I think, and in every way, basically the whole world is getting affected. But some are benefiting, but America is not just staying neutral, because even though you have to understand that the oil supply or the oil glut that is caused, not oil glut, but like, right, the crunch that's caused by the Strait of Hormuz, they also took over Venezuela, right, a couple of months ago. And obviously that was that was regarding oil, that was just regarding oil. This is something.
The largest number of oil reserves actually belong to Venezuela.
Venezuela, right. So, but America hasn't been developing in that sense, especially the relationship with everyone. The fact that if they could, the fact that they would actually ask a European member, right, to actually join them, right, in, let's say, boycotting the Strait of Hormuz, it would be against them. It would be, for a European country, it would be like shooting themselves in the foot.